What's up everybody, it's your boy Money, back again with another video, and today I'm going to be speaking about an application that I came across called Franc. Now I came across this actually while I was just doing research here on YouTube, on South African finance YouTube, just looking at a few other people who are releasing videos about investing and finance, sort of just to see what other platforms are out there for someone to use. And there's this one I found called Franc, and I just wanted to give my opinion of it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, cool. So we're over here on their website. It's franc.app. This is their website, and it says smart investing for everyone, get started in minutes. I see there's a download and there's a why invest with Franc. They've got Best Financial App of the Year by Stuff Magazine, May 2020. Best South African App of the Year by MTN 2019. Great. Why invest with Franc? This video, I'm not going to play it because it's not mine. But basically, this hun just speaks about how she likes investing with Franc because you can invest in like smaller little portions. Yeah, then there's these three sections: Allan Gray, Satrix, and then it says Franc. So just to explain what the app is, because I'm not going to go into it, I think it's a waste of time. Franc essentially is a middleman. They're a middleman to Allan Gray's money market fund and the Satrix top 40 is the ETF. And essentially what you do on the application, now this is based off of someone else's video, because like I said, it's a complete waste of time you're actually getting the app. What you do is that there's a bunch of questions that they ask you when you first get the app, and based on those questions they sort of determine what your risk profile is or your risk appetite is. So if you're a very high risk, or you have a high risk appetite, you see, then whatever you invest, they'll put majority of it on the Satrix top 40, and then they'll put a smaller percentage in the Allan Gray money market. And the money market thing is essentially just a money market investment account that has very small to little returns. But we'll look at them both in a second, and then I'll give you a good understanding of what I think. Yeah, and essentially this picture right here explains exactly what Franc is doing. Is that there's a group of investors who are over here. You take your money and you give it to Franc. Franc put it in their vault, and then they take that and they invest it in Satrix and Allan Gray. The somewhat deceiving thing is that there's two notes that come in and there are two notes that come out. But the truth is, there's a middleman. No one does this kind of thing, or no one does anything for free actually, which is the reason why, again, I've always preached, where there's a middleman, be wary. Sometimes you need a middleman, but other times not really. But anyway, as we keep going, our app in a nutshell, your investor profile. So that's where they determine what your risk appetite is, set a goal and start saving. So they actually do incentivize you, maybe not incentivize you, but they help you to try and sort of write down and track what your goal is, what you're trying to save towards, which I think is good. Track your progress. Yeah, anyone can do that, but anyway, then they just say your money is safe with us. That's just to sort of gain your trust. And then there's the contact page at the bottom, and then it says who is Franc. Yeah, a bunch of people, meet the team. You know what I found quite interesting, that they actually have an investment strategist on this team, but he does nothing in my opinion. No disrespect to you, Nika, all dirt, but I don't see the reason for an investment strategist where you're literally just taking the money that we give to you and putting it in an index fund. Not even an index fund, a JSE top 40 ETF, which I think is very lazy. If I was to open a company and did something like this, I would call that daylight robbery, because I think they said that they charge 1%, which is fine, but I mean, if you go direct and get it, you might get it cheaper, you might not. But the fact of the matter is that what they're offering is essentially they're giving you a way to invest in the Satrix Top 40 index fund, not index fund, ETF, and then an Allan Gray money market account, just to sort of balance out the two, sort of get your risk profile okay. But truth be told, the returns on this is horrible. If we look at Allan Gray's money market fund, their annualized returns since inception is single digits, very low single digits. I mean, 8%. I think that barely beats in inflation. It does, but I mean, if you adjust this for inflation, the returns on this is horrible. But this is not meant to be a high growth or a high investment fund. So I completely understand why the Allan Gray money market fund is the way it is. I think it's performing as it's mandated to perform. So nothing wrong with this specific fund. It's just because if you use Franc as your interface, this is what you're going to have access to. And I think this is horrible, in my opinion, for anyone with somewhat of an investment strategy, because I understand the need or the want to preserve your money or the value of your money, but this, truth be told, is just not good at all. And then we go over to the Cetrix Top 40, and this again is the top 40 JSE companies. I think we've spoken about it ever so slightly, all of the companies in the JSE Top 40 by market capitalization, and this is in theory not a bad idea. The problem is that the JSE has not been doing good over the last few years. JSE is, again, if you actually look at the performance table on Cetrix website, it's all single digits, particularly if you look under the CPI inflation. 2%, 4%, 4%, 4%, 5%. You know, the positive is that it's not losing any money, which is great. But this kind of growth is horrible. This is really bad. And I don't think it's Cetrix's fault. I don't think it's even Franc's fault. It's just the performance of the companies on the JSE. And it's part of the reason why I've always insisted that people go out and find things for themselves and not use something like Franc. Because even Franc themselves, they've chosen two very horrible things. Maybe not horrible as well, but they've chosen two products that I don't think are going to give you great yield, but the risk is quite low. 110% agree. The chance of a JSE Top 40 ETF going to zero is literally nothing. I don't see that happening no matter what happens. There's just too many companies and too many industries. A lot of them actually has to do with natural resources that I don't ever see it going to zero. So from that point of view, I understand, but they've literally taken zero risk. I mean, on this video that I watched, this girl invested about 1,000 rand, and within the space of time between when she put the money in and when she recorded the video, she was down. Granted, the period is maybe not the best period for South Africa and the economy of South Africa at large, but I mean, really, it was horrible. I mean, if we go over the performance of the Cetrix Top 40 over the last 5 years, it's grown by 2%. 2%, guys. Okay. Allan Gray money market, yeah, it actually doesn't have a proper growth. It just actually shows you how much dividend it's yielded, and again, it's single digits, which is horrible. I say if you want an easy way to invest, don't use Franc. I'm sorry, Franc, to have to say this. I think your idea is good. I think your approach is right. You've just chosen the wrong fund, and really, it for me, it eliminates the whole talk of having, you know, that what do you call it? That risk calculation, because by you asking people what their risk appetite is, or trying to find out what someone's risk appetite is based on a variety of factors, you're therefore implying that you're able to get them a high risk, high reward strategy should that be their risk appetite, where, truth be told, you've just taken two very easy decisions, or two very easy you know, commodities or companies or instruments, that's the word. You've taken two very easy instruments and you've sort of repackaged it in a nice app and said you can fractionalize it and all of that, which is great. But I think personally, if you're going to go through the effort of asking me what my risk appetite is and you don't give me a high risk, high reward option, what's the point? What is really the point? Here's what I would advise for someone who wants to go onto Franc or something like that. Hey, there's Allan Gray's website. Literally Google Allan Gray unit trusts, right? And they'll tell you only need 500 Rand a month. Maybe that's the only thing that maybe you'd want to go to Franc for, that you can do much smaller amounts. But in my honest opinion, if you can't afford to put at least 500 Rand a month towards something, maybe then we need to relook at this and maybe look at other ways in which we can help you to get to a point where you'll be able to contribute 500 Rand a month. Because I think anything less when you're investing, not that it's useless or it's a waste, but you won't get the value, particularly out of the cost in these things, with anything less than 500 Rand. And there are other platforms that maybe we'll go over in the future where you can actually put smaller amounts than 500 Rand. But I'm just making a simple example here. Allan Gray, you only need 500 Rand a month. And literally it shows you here, there's higher potential long-term returns, or there's stability and low risk. So there's Allan Gray's money market all the way on the right, on the low risk side. They've got an intermediary, which is the stable fund, and then they've got the balanced fund. Balanced fund, really is the best one if you don't want to get too much into the nitty-gritties or anything like that. But if it was me, I would use Allan Gray's equity fund. There's another video where I discuss how generally equity funds do really well over the years, and for long-term gain, it's really good. I would always get into that if I was a lazy investor, but we're not lazy investors here. We know what we're doing. That's just one example. You don't like Allan Gray? Cool, go to Sanlam. Same thing, Google Sanlam unit trusts. You'll come up to this page, and what you'll see, they give a bit of explanation about everything, and they'll show you there's low risk, there's high risk, and they actually advise you what kind of funds that you can get into for differing risk appetites and with different periods of time. Again, the top one here for the most aggressive global equity fund, great. And not to sort of bag on South Africa, but for really high returns here in South Africa is not the place where you want to be. I mean, I was watching a video today about someone who's got a Tesla position that's grown by about 700% in about 2 years, and I've never seen that in South Africa. Not that I've been doing this for a really long period of time, but it's totally unheard of here in South Africa. Just the last the last route, or the last option, I'd say, and it's my favorite one. I'm sure it may seem like I'm sponsored by Old Mutual because I'm a big advocate for Old Mutual and their products, but I'm not. But Old Mutual, if you want to holler at me, holler at me. But regardless, Old Mutual, I think for me, they're the easiest group of people to invest with. They actually even give you a guideline that you can go over that will actually show you what their fund sheets, or the minimum disclosure sheet on the unit trust actually means. They go into a lot of detail showing you everything that all of this means, to essentially help you not make a mistake or not understand really what it is that you're going into. I mean, they even go as far as to tell you who a specific fund is for, and when you go to the fund table, they show you there's balanced funds, equity funds, and they even show you the risk. They show you the mandate, you see, where or what type of derivatives that they're investing in, the risk, and then you have the actual sheet and the portfolio. So let's look at Global Equity Fund, one of my favorites right now. I'm going to look at the portfolio because I think we have gone over the what's this called? The fact sheet at a different stage or in a different video. And here it is. They show you all of the companies that they are in the different countries, and you get a really, really good sort of synopsis as to what this fund actually entails. I mean, look, you invested in Puma, Adidas, Borussia Dortmund. Maybe that's not the best one to be invested in. There's things in Hong Kong, Italy, Japan. Look at the wealth of information that you have here on what exactly it is you're investing, versus something like Franc that literally just shows you Allan Gray, Satrix, and it says there's no minimum fees. I think Franc is a bad idea. If anyone suggested to you, if anyone tries to get you to invest with Franc, I would first of all judge that person and judge their advice. Like I said, Franc I think is a great idea, but the execution thereof is horrible. You seriously can't want to give people the returns that they're getting on the JSE Top 40. Really, it's horrible. I think they need to rethink their strategy, and maybe, though, I don't know anything. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. Maybe they know something, or there are analysts or other people who will be able to say I'm wrong or I'm not right, and Franc is actually a revolutionary app and they are doing great things. But as for me and my people, we would not like you to be involved in Franc. 10 out of 10 for effort, 0 out of 10 for execution, Franc. That is my feelings on you. Yeah, it's been your boy, Prem Jimani. Please don't forget, like, share, subscribe. We really need to get the subscriber count up. And I'm helping you guys out as well. If by end of September we have 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to deposit 5,000 Rand into 2 people's investment accounts. That's a total of 10,000 Rand. And if by the end of the year we get to 50,000 subs, one lucky person will get 50,000 Rand deposited into their investment account to do with whatever they want to do. No strings attached. And yeah, once we get a bit closer to reaching the goal, then maybe we'll get into the logistics of how we do it. But yeah, that's that. It's been your boy, Prem Jimani. Please stay away from Franc. There's better things you can do with your money. And yeah, see ya.